Is it possible the AI bust is coming?
I'm gonna chill down, pretend meets the world where CTOs share the tales and the comments start a few big names and the visions unfold. How many CTOs will share their stories
All right,
untold?
Brad, welcome back for another episode of How Many CTOs Does It Take? My name is Scott Polrad, and this is my trusty co-host.
Brad Heptegaub.
I feel like I mumbled the word co-host, Brad.
Probably did, but that's fine. That's fine.
Brad, we're here this week to do another AI roundup. It's
Yeah,
been
it
a
was.
while since we've done an AI roundup. And I personally feel like since we talked about it last, there has been a change in the AI vibe. And I don't mean the vibe coding way. I mean in what the world is thinking about AI. What's your take?
I 100% agree with. I've seen a sea change, at least in the way that big tech is talking about AI, and in
Oh,
particular the way that the CEOs and the VCs are talking about it. And I think that's something interesting going on there.
tell me more.
Well, uh, it was 6 months ago, or it was 9 months ago that the CEO of Anthropic said that in 6 months all code would be 90% of all code would be written by AI or something like that,
Hmm.
and that engineering jobs were going to go away in 12 to 18 months, and he's not saying that anymore.
Right.
That's one example. And I think that you're sort of seeing this shift start to play out a little bit. You're starting to seeing a different tone from the head of all the big you know um, AI players. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, everybody, Microsoft. Um, and so I think that's really interesting. And the VCs are starting to kind of cool their jets a little bit too about the way they talk about stuff.
Hmm.
So that's huge, I think.
In the hype cycle, do you think we are in the trough of disillusionment?
Yeah, I think maybe.
Let's talk about yeah, we need to tell everybody. So there's the uh, innovation trigger is the first phase. Then there is the peak of inflated expectations. I think
Well,
we're past
I think we're past that for sure.
the
Yeah.
peak of inflated expectations. Then there is the trough of disillusionment.
Um,
I can't pronounce that word today. The
you're
trough of disillusionment.
There you go. You got it out.
Disillusionment.
Third time's the charm.
The slope of enlightenment and the plateau of productivity.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder if we're actually in the full trough or if we've just started. But this particular hype cycle has gone so much faster than most other hype cycles that we could
Mhm.
be all the way into the trough now. But I definitely feel like we're coming off the high of the peak of inflated expectations.
Yeah, I don't know how to put it in the hype cycle, but I feel like we're off that high, and we're in a spot now where people are actually just kind of finding real things to do with it. I guess that is the slope of enlightenment. But I think the AI slope of enlightenment, okay, here's what I think has changed. I think because the peak of expectations was so high that people thought the impact was going to be crazy high. But I actually, so they thought it was going to be V-shaped, right? Upside down V-shaped, like up. Well, I don't know how to describe it, but I actually think it's more like U-shaped. Like the peak was really high, but it's going to take, I think it's going to be a decade-long grind of finding the value in it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the internet, really. I mean, like the internet started, there was 2000, you and I were there, it was crazy peak, there was a big bust. But then really over the next 15, 20 years is when it became the thing, right? It's
Yep.
2002 to 2022,
Yep.
right? And it was really those 2010s, it was the 2010s when it really took
Start
off. I mean,
Started getting its
it,
flywheel going. Yeah.
it just was everywhere.
Yep.
Like, you know how I think about it? There was a time, I don't know when it was, when you could live in America, at least, without the internet.
Right. When
You
did
could
that
still
end?
go to a government office, you could still send a letter somewhere, get a letter from something, right? And at some point, you cannot function as I mean, I'm sure you can, I'm sure there are people who do, but in general, you need the internet.
Yeah.
You need to go renew your driver's license. You basically need the internet, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Hell, I just got a traffic ticket. I got stuck in the box because I couldn't get all the way out of the intersection because traffic jam, and the whole thing came to me it came to me in email. I could only pay it on the internet. I was like, man, like, wow.
So yes, there's this piece that happened where there was an assumption, society somehow shifted, and there's an assumption that everybody will have access to the internet. And the smartphone was a key part of that story.
Yes, that's true. So how does this relate to the hype cycle of AI?
There's it took us a long time to get to the assumption that everyone had internet. Like we had the boom in late 90s, 2000, then we had the bust. And then there was the grind, and it took like 10 or 15 years, and then all of a sudden the assumption of ubiquity was there.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like we're on the slope of enlightenment. The slope of enlightenment in my framing could be called the slow uphill grind until the assumption of ubiquity. And we're going to get to ubiquity at some point, but we're not there, and it's going to be a long time.
Okay, so this is gonna I have some things to share that are gonna be a little bit less tech and a little bit more sort of like uh economics and investing and things like that. So what was the number? 50% of GDP in the first half of 2025 was AI data centers for our whole country. 50% of GDP growth. GDP
Whoa,
growth.
growth.
GDP
Well,
growth.
now what do you hang on a second? What does that mean? So GDP is gross domestic product. That's
Right.
on
So
how much
basically
that's like
like
our country's income, right?
yeah,
That's how much
so
we made.
yeah. So like basically like, typically the US has about, 3 to 4% annual growth is basically what we've been at for the last 10 years.
Mhm.
50% of that growth was in AI data centers. And
And so when you say it was,
we actually had shrinking, we had shrinking GDP because of other economic decisions that have been made recently about tariffs, etc. And it's the AI data centers that have basically kept us from having negative GDP.
and is that so GDP is actual like our income, our national income. So that means people are paying like tons of money to data centers.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's all the big guys are all spending money on building new data centers for the AI. And
Hmm.
it's like and it's starting to get into this very strange like friends cycling on top of each other type thing where Nvidia is selling chips to companies and then renting them back from the companies. There's like all kinds of crazy like churn and sort of like it's not there's nothing nefarious going on, but there's all these like partnership deals where it kind of looks like the money goes in and out of two different people's pockets, and therefore that gets counted twice, and that kind of creates a bigger GDP number when in fact it's really just I'm handing you $10, you're handing me two fives, and then I'm handing you a 20, and then you hand me back, two more tens or something like that. It's like some, goofy like no real money changed hands, but a lot of money changed hands multiple times. And that's the last basically 2025 has been this massive churn of the big guys spending money mostly like all that investment that's gone into the big powerhouses, it's all building data centers.
So this is interesting. A minute, we lived through the first dot-com
Yeah.
bust. Is it possible the AI
Yes.
bust is coming?
Yes. That's what I was about to say. That's why I don't think we're in the trough of disillusionment because we haven't had some kind of a, you know, a bubble burst. Now, so many people are intertwined on this. So many of the big players are intertwined on this, that it's in their vested interest. And honestly, like I think that there's serious I mean, again, I don't necessarily want to get into the politics of this, but there could be some very serious uh too big to fail type situations going on here.
Hmm.
Because guess what? We haven't replaced software engineers, but now we have like, OpenAI released the latest version of Sora, which basically creates 10-second, viral video clips for you. And they're like, like that's the latest announcements. It's just like, it's, it's, slop or bubble gum, or it's not. We're not really seeing, like one of the things that everybody's talking about. Oh, this AI will maybe cure diseases. We're not. That's not happening. That's not. I know we've had a year of people predicting that AI was going to, you know, come with these amazing breakthroughs of curing rare diseases or curing cancer or something like that, and they're not any closer to that.
Okay, I saw something on the internet recently, which is a totally unreliable source, by the way.
Yeah, the
But I
internet.
just tell you what I saw.
Yes.
I saw it on Instagram.
Oh,
So
more the more reliable of the unreliable sources.
100% unreliable, but it caught my attention, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I wonder if that's true." This was talking about radiologists, and there were a few things that caught my attention. The first thing it said was the FDA has approved, I can't remember if it said 70 or 700. It must have said 70. 700 is too many. The FDA has approved 70 AI type models to do radiology, computers doing the radiology as opposed to a radiologist looking for broken bones and stuff like that.
Apparently in January they had approved over 1,000 clinical AI applications, most aimed at radiology.
Maybe 700 was a real number. Maybe
It
that
might
maybe
have
it
been
was
seven.
700.
This looks like I found an article on radiologybusiness.com that says 758 approved applications.
There you go. And now, if you think about AI or machine learning even and radiology, it makes a ton of sense because it's just
Yeah, and I'm
pattern
pretty
matching.
sure those are we're calling them AI nowadays, which is fine, but those are probably classic machine learning hugging face various models. They're not LLMs doing that.
That's right.
So let's be clear, when we say AI, we're not always talking about LLMs.
100%. Everything's AI now. Literally, I got new tires the other day and they're AI tires. I mean, everything
They
it's
tell you
amazing.
when they need to spin.
I mean, it's amazing. There's a I watch for our listeners out there. I'm a fan of European soccer, and there's a European phone company called Otto, and they're a sponsor of one of these teams or something, or one of these tournaments. I don't know. And they have their AI phone. It was like AI hadn't even been out 15 seconds, and they were like, "Boom! It's an AI phone now." Okay, but that's not what I wanted to say about the radiologists. They got all these models, and they thought radiologists were going to all get fired because the computers were going to be doing it instead. But what this thing said, and maybe your Radiology Today or whatever you're reading says the same thing. They said actually the cost of reading an X-ray has gone way, way down, and so there's just more happening. There's more need for radiologists to do this stuff because
Yeah.
they can do it faster, which I thought was pretty fascinating. So there are some good things happening out there, but you're right. There's a lot of make me another viral clip. So when does the bubble burst? So now I'm thinking as an investor, not political. I'm thinking just like, how do we get rich off this? And I'm thinking, so how does the bubble actually burst? Does it burst when one of these companies like Microsoft or Oracle or whatever starts to say, "Oh yeah, we've way over invested in data centers and we got to write some of this stuff off"? Is that when it bursts? We need to get an economist on here.
Mostly, a lot of this stuff is happening in the private markets, right? Like,
Hmm.
there's very few public companies that you can invest in that are 100% AI plays, right? So you can
Hmm.
obviously invest in Nvidia, you can obviously invest in Microsoft, Apple, Google, but you can't invest in OpenAI, you can't invest in Anthropic, right?
Right.
It's all private, and unless you're a billionaire hedge fund, you're not investing in them. Um, so yeah, I mean that's one of the other things that it's kind of interesting is like the the dot-com bubble that we all know about. That also was the hey rowdy
Hmm.
public going public and everybody IPOing, and then a lot of those companies blew up. We're talking about $100 billion valuation seed rounds these days. That's not those companies don't make sense on the public market ever,
Hmm.
really. So I don't know. But let's pivot back to let's get to the technology of AI for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
You suggested that we should look at Hacker News.
Oh, yes. Top 10 articles in Hacker News. How many of them are about AI?
Well, I already looked.
Whoa, rats. One, only one on my view of Hacker News.
Oh, that's funny. I got two.
What are your two? Maybe I should
I got
reload.
No, number three, Claude skills are awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a bigger deal than MCP.
Hmm.
And then number seven, Claude Code versus Codex. I built a sentiment dashboard from Reddit comments.
Yes, I just refreshed my Hacker News, and now I see that.
And then just below the fold is number 11, asking AI to build scrapers should be easy, right?
Now on my reload, that's number 10. So top three of the top 10.
Oh, Claude skills are awesome is in a bullet. It's jumping up to the top. So yeah.
Number 13 on mine is something I'm very interested in, but slightly afraid to click.
Meow camera?
Meow.camera. What do you think is behind that link?
I'm a little afraid to click.
It's exactly what you would expect. It is a
It's a cat
cat.
cam.
It's a
He's
cat
yeah.
cam.
Oh wait. Oh, it's multiple cat cams. Look down the side. You can look at Mr. Happy.
I wonder if this is a product that people sell. A little now. Okay, we need to pause for a second here. Everybody needs to know something that I spent 5 years of my life working on a website about cats. Okay. And doing ridiculous things on the internet. And I wonder if this is like a cat feeder that you can, because there's hundreds of them you can look, well, not hundreds of them, there's
Yeah,
many
they
of them
all
you
look
can
the
look at
same.
here. They all look the same. And I wonder if this is a product that you can buy and then you can plug yourself in. And these people who are
Yeah,
running this are genius because they know people love to look
yeah.
at pictures of cats.
I think you're right though. I think they all look like they have the same product. They all look like it's
Yes,
a bowl that's got a camera. So I
very interesting. So it looks like Meow.camera is an alternative viewer for the feeders from the Hello Street Cat app.
ah,
We are now down the cat rabbit hole.
we're down a cat rabbit hole.
I'm I,
And see,
I'm
this
taking
is
us
how
out of the cat rabbit hole. This is how I made a living for 5 years was the cat rabbit hole. It turns out that people really like to look at pictures of cats on the internet, and you
that's
can
true.
actually run a business doing that.
Just showing cats on the internet. So let me ask this question.
Yeah,
Back to the AI topic. What is the
yeah.
coolest thing you've done with AI in the last month?
I haven't done it. I've seen it.
Okay, tell me.
So, because you know what, I haven't done anything with AI in the last month. I haven't even done any computering in the last month due to other things going on in my work and life. But I'll tell you something I saw. I think people on this podcast know I work at a company called TaskRabbit right now. TaskRabbit has an API for partners who would like to integrate with TaskRabbit. It's like it's a public API in the sense of like other people use it, but it's private in the sense of we don't just let anybody use it. You got to like call us up and say, hey, we want to partner with you. But one of our engineers, in like less than an hour, with three prompts, essentially built an API client. He said, here's our documentation. You know, here's the API. I want you to make a thing called Henry's Discount Car Delivery Service. And here's the requirements. I think what impressed me most is it was three prompts.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it did it. I mean, look, it was just a little demonstration site for, users of the API to see how it worked. But the
yeah.
fact that he was able to do that and was really impressive to me. And I think the other thing I want to say about that, you and I have talked about this a lot. It seems to me that the more talented engineers seem to be getting more out of AI. And this is one of the most talented engineers one of the most senior engineers on the team, who has invested time in figuring out how to make it work. And somebody said we need a demonstration app for our customers, and he was like, I can whip that up quickly. And maybe it would have taken him a week to do it by hand. Maybe it would have only taken 2.5 days. Who knows? He did it in 1 hour with three prompts,
Yeah,
which I thought
totally.
was really impressive. What is the most interesting thing you've done or seen?
It's funny as you were saying that, like, I I don't have I shouldn't have even asked you this question because like I don't have a good answer myself. But what you know what I've seen that I'm really pleased with is that um I am just seeing the engineers that I work with on a really regular basis. They are more and more they're up leveling their game um by pushing the AI tools that they're using to be better written AI code. So I'm just seeing them do harder and harder things and getting good quality, higher and higher quality results. And
Hmm.
you can see this because here's how I noticed it. So I noticed that the commit messages and the PR descriptions by all the developers are all now clearly being written by AI.
Hmm.
And I've done this myself where I've got like I was using the um the approach that Michael Natkin gave us about the
Hmm.
idea of like, have it build an write yourself an architecture.md document, then give another AI a chance to like, break that down into tasks and then assign those tasks to AI agents. And the AI agents do a really good job of their commit messages are very specifically written in a way that's like obvious, like the thought process they went through.
Hmm.
And so you can read a commit message or a pull request, and you can definitely see that it was written by AI, not a human developer.
Hmm.
And so as I track that, I'm seeing more and more and more of the commits and the PRs that are clearly the messages were written by AI, and the the things that the developers were doing were really quite advanced things, and they clearly used AI to do the bulk of it. And code quality is quite good. One thing that's really funny is when you sent, because we talked about this a couple months ago, how the AI code review agents were pretty good, right?
Yes, that's right.
Get an get an AI code review agent to do a code review of an AI agent's code, and you see a really
Okay.
interesting dynamic.
What do you find out?
Well, 6 months ago, the AI code review agents were complaining about a lot more things.
Oh, really?
Now the AI code review agents tend to complain less about the code written by AI. And it's not because they're getting laxer, it's because the code is getting better. And I've just been watching this. As I watch the
Hmm.
commits fly by, you can
It's
see
learning.
that
It's
it's
learning.
getting better. It's getting better.
Do you have any naysayers on your team?
I don't have any naysayers on my team. The people that
Yeah.
I thought were the biggest naysayers, um, I've now, at least on my main team, we have a term in our language we call my robot overlord suggested this. That's what we say. We say
Yeah.
that. So everyone's now integrated that into their language. They're like, me and my robot overlord worked on this, this spec document. Me and my robot overlord worked on this PR.
Hmm.
And everyone now is fully embracing that as kind of like it's kind of a joke, but they're using it. They're really using it as a tool. And some of the folks that were the most naysayers, I see them using it more and more now. So I'm pretty impressed with the way that and people are, and I feel like we're going a lot faster than we were. So
I got one naysayer on my team. I got to figure out how to handle that situation because I feel like it's a little corrosive.
oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, what's the objection?
Well, it's all the objections. It's incorrect sometimes. It'd be faster to do it myself. Uh, it, can't do very complex things, etc. I mean, they're not. That's not that things aren't untrue, but I feel like it's a mindset. It's kind.
100%.
To me, if they feel like excuses of like I don't want to do this, and so I'm gonna, as opposed to saying, interesting, somebody's created a new tool to help me do my job better. I'm gonna figure out how to use it. They're just saying all the reasons why they shouldn't use it.
It's funny. I wonder if I think some of the people that were the early naysayers in my teams have been the people that are the type of people that are paying really close attention to the latest and greatest tech gadgets. And so they were exposed to them really early.
Hmm.
And I think the people that are embracing it more robustly are folks that either just have growth mindsets anyway or came to it later when it was already better.
Mm.
And so a part of the sort of like if the naysayer's a naysayer because they tried it early, right? Then I would say focus on trying to get them to try it again because the new stuff is just so much better.
Like, here's something that uh, they wrote the other day. So
Okay.
we use a tool called CodeRabbit for automated code reviews.
Yep. Yep.
No relation to TaskRabbit.
Yep.
I suggested to our lawyer, by the way, that we should contact them with a copyright thing just to see if we can get free licenses. But he didn't. First of all, he didn't find that funny, and second of all, he was like, "Oh, that'll be so much work." Blah blah blah. I don't think we'll have a good case. I'm like, I don't care about the case. I just want to see if we'll threaten them and they'll give us some free software.
Haven't you learned anything from the current political climate? It's not about whether you actually have a case or not.
I wasn't even serious. I was just joking, and he didn't find it funny. Anyway, CodeRabbit's great at catching stupid typos that inevitably make it into pull requests. However, its accuracy at providing relevant comments to even slightly complex issues drops dramatically in my experience.
Me, that feels like I feel like there would be uh, several easily retrievable examples of legitimate bugs and problems that CodeRabbit caught.
Hmm.
Happens all the time to my team. Some of my best engineers, like literally, like we're now we asked for the code review on all the things, and like it's like before I even look at a pull request, I'm looking at what the the code AI code had to say about it, and sure enough, like I had one of my top engineers wrote this cool thing. It seemed like it was testing, and I ran it, and it's like it said, oh, you basically accidentally had a knot in a place that you didn't want to have a knot, right? It was
Hmm.
like caught like an exact opposite error. Now it was an hard to get to branch in the code, but
Hmm.
it was exact opposite wrong. And
Hmm.
the developer's like, oh shit, yeah, it caught like a legit straight bug there. Like,
Yeah.
yes, that's a problem.
Well, now I'm bummed out right now. We talked about such cool stuff a minute ago, and now I'm talking about naysayers.
Well, I mean, there's always gonna be what is haters gonna hate, right?
Haters gonna hate. Hey, can we finish on a more positive note?
Yes, finish on a positive note.
Also on Hacker News, there's another important article.
Wait, I closed it already. Tell me.
No, you don't look. I'm just going to tell it to you. It'll be a quiz.
Okay.
The rapper 50 Cent. Do you know 50 Cent?
Yeah,
Are
of
you
course.
familiar with 50 Cent's
Get rich or
music?
die trying. Get rich or die trying.
There you go.
I got a couple
50
of 50
Cent
Cent albums.
adjusted for inflation.
Okay, like when the first album came out, you mean Get Rich or Die Trying? What is it adjusted for inflation? When did that come out? 98? 94?
According to the 50 Cent adjusted for inflation tracker, which cites Wikipedia, the name
Bingo.
50 Cent was coined in June 1994.
Okay, so 50 Cent is now uh $2.73.
109 cent.
Well, I mean, I'm not that far off. I mean,
You
order
were
of
you were
magnitude.
over 100% off. You said 273 cent and it's 109 cent.
I mean, inflation's look, the rent's too damn high, Scott. The rent's too damn high.
Apparently the rent's cheaper than you think it is.
I love it.
Well, this
All right,
episode has been
109 cent,
bonkers.
109 cent. Get rich or die trying.
We should see if we can get 109 cent on this podcast. That would be the day.
That would
When
be
we're
the day.
big enough that 109 cent is coming on our podcast,
That'll be the day. All right, Scott.
I I feel like we got to
This
stop
was
it
an
now.
oddball. We gotta stop this episode. This was all out of left field. But the AI hype cycle, something's going on. It's a interesting tectonic plates are moving, and yeah. But I'm still coding like crazy with it because it's makes me faster.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All
I'll
right.
talk to you next week, Brad. What
All
are we
right. Talk
supposed
to you
to
next
do?
week, Scott. We're rate, review, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, give us 5 stars, and yeah, to the
Well,
top, baby.
I mean, inflation, give us a 10.9 stars.
10.9 stars, exactly.
All right. See you, Brad.
All right.
This episode of How Many CTOs Does It Take podcast was edited by Saffron Eftigal. Our theme song was AI generated by Brad. Please follow us on all the social media platforms at How Many CTOs Pod.
You can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, TikTok, and Patreon, or at our website at howmanyctospod.com. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe on the podcast platform of your choice. Thanks for listening.